Hello. Today is Memorial Day in the linear timeline of America, or the former United States. And I wanted to do something a little different. This is silver that I had, so I thought I'd take extra kind of precautions so I can protect my brain, my thought wavelengths. And before I start, I just want to say the timeline here for myself is um, on this continent, on this landmass, on the paternal side, is not only am I a granddaughter of the American Revolution, so I've had multiple grandfathers and grandmothers. I mean, let's be clear. This is some evidence of one of the books, the genealogy books. My sister has the book. I'll probably get a different one. I find that it's online on Amazon, because when I try to contact the author of the book, I never get anything back. So, um, it says this is in the National Archives, because the military has to keep National Archive, or it's in the military system, and I'll get into that later because I'm gonna do something special for my grandfather that I never met. My dad's dad, and I have his casket flag, which is the Title IV flag. And I asked my dad if I could have this one specifically. And I plan on doing something a little special today, because are the dead really dead? So, but the book, this one is Josiah. This is when the country started to formulate, or started to manifest itself. Josiah Taylor. This is in the military archives. He lived from 1754 to, or it says 1754 to 1838. But the entire lineage of the Taylors on this continent is from 1630 to 1999. And that's pretty important because in 1999, the US, which is a meritocracy, the US came out of its third and final international bankruptcy, which technically, and just to be completely blunt, means it ceased to exist. And the people and administrative peeps at the time failed to do their duties to uphold and reconstitute and resubstantiate, and now there's all this chaos going on. So yeah, that's what my grandfather, Josiah Taylor, he fought in the Battle of Bunker Hill. So that's just some history. And in order for migrants, and I've recently just started kind of putting this together and doing some research with it. In order for before that, there was indigenous native people here. And they had their own trade routes, and they would trade. I'm sure the Vikings came in too. But before that, um, before any migrants could come over, there was something called the Wampum Belt Treaty, which essentially means that the two groups of people, the people from overseas, settlers, if you want to call them colonists or whatever, I don't care at this point, and then the natives, they came together in a peace treaty called the Wampum Belt Treaty. And it basically also just meant that they would not interfere with each other's ways, but they would live as friends in peace and harmony, and whatever that entails. And I plan to uphold that. I plan to continue that. I plan to hold that, because we're all human beings here. And one person can speak one language, one person can speak another language, but what it all comes down to is the truth. And are you lying or not? Because if you're lying to somebody else, or if you're nefarious, it's going to come back to you. Either way. But so, to honor my grandfather, he fought. I don't know the entire story Well, honor my grandfathers, the one that fought in the Battle of Bunker Hill and the other battles that won the Revolutionary War. Um, but to honor them, it's just there's so much going on today. They would be disgusted with what's going on in current government or whatever military constructs. Like, you have no idea. They are rolling it. They're not at rest. They are rolling on their graves. They are literally just the grandmothers as well. My oldest grandmother, I believe that's part in my maternal line, was a tinker. And there's a whole bunch of stuff with that, but we're going to look and see. So recently, I was doing some studying about the AI system that is attached to the military that supposedly is targeting the children and bombing over in the Middle East, parts of Lebanon, and obviously Gaza this entire time, because we've been giving money over to Israel because we are religiously indoctrinated and think that that's fucking God, and you guys are just so fucking dumb. I want to. So apparently that system, let's just ask Gemini AI. Let's just kind of do our little. Let's just kind of do some research. Hey Gemini, which AI system was the system that essentially targeted structures over in Middle East and bombed a prayer room and killed the children inside?
Investigative reporting and defense analyses have highlighted several AI-assisted targeting systems used in recent conflicts in the Middle East. Based on the specific details you mentioned, targeting physical structures, the bombing of a prayer room, and the devastating loss of civilian children, there are two distinct contexts for military operations where these types of systems and tragedies have been documented. 1. The Israeli military's target generation systems in Gaza. Investigative journalism, most notably by Plus 972 magazine and Local Call, exposed a trio of AI systems utilized by the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, during the conflict in Gaza. The Gospel, Habzora. This is an AI-based decision support system specifically designed to target physical structures and buildings, such as apartment complexes, headquarters, and infrastructure, rather than individuals. It automates the review of surveillance data to recommend bombing targets at a rapid pace. Lavender, a companion system to the Gospel. Lavender is an AI-driven database that sifts through massive amounts of personal data and communication records to identify and assign risk scores to individuals, placing thousands on automated potential kill lists. Where's Daddy? A tracking system linked with a database to monitor individuals via mobile location data. Reports revealed a permissive military policy where the system would alert operators when a flagged individual arrived home, often resulting in airstrikes on family residences that killed entire families, including numerous children. 2. The U.S. military's Maven Smart system in the Manab school incident. If you are referring to a specific, widely reported strike involving a prayer room inside a structure, this aligns with a highly scrutinized incident during a recent U.S. military campaign in the region, Operation Epic Fury. The Maven Smart system, the U.S. military heavily integrated this AI software, which processes vast streams of surveillance data and works alongside commercial large language models to accelerate target generation, to strike hundreds of targets rapidly. The incident. During the campaign, a strike hit a school complex in Manab. Following the initial impact on the school structure, survivors, including the principal and a large group of students, sheltered inside the building's designated prayer room. A subsequent secondary strike hit that exact area, resulting in the mass casualty of the children taking shelter inside. Summary of system differences. System name, primary function, context/documented outcomes. The Gospel, Habsora, automates the identification and rapid generation of physical structures and buildings as bombing targets. Deployed in Gaza, associated with widespread destruction of built environments and high civilian casualties. Maven Smart System integrates algorithmic analysis and LLMs to accelerate real-time data processing and targeting pipelines for high-tempo operations. Deployed by the U.S. military, linked to highly controversial accelerated strikes, including the school/prayer room tragedy. Both cases have ignited intense global debates among human rights organizations, ethicists, and legal experts regarding the dangers of using automated or semi-automated systems in warfare, minimal human oversight, and the catastrophic impact of algorithmic errors on civilian populations.
Gemini, who authorized the use of these automated systems and programs to be conducted over in that area at this now time?
The authorization for these automated targeting systems depends on the specific military structure and the nation operating them. Because these programs are deeply integrated into national defense pipelines, rather than acting as rogue software, their use is authorized at the highest levels of military and executive command. 1. Israel's systems, the Gospel and Lavender, in Gaza. In the Israeli military structure, the deployment of these AI decision support tools was institutionalized through top-tier military leadership before and during the current conflict. System Development Authorization. The creation of the Target Administration Division in 2019, which explicitly sought to use AI to solve the Air Force's target shortage, was authorized and championed by Aviv Kohavi, the Chief of General Staff of the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, until 2023. Operational clearance. Following the October 7, 2023 attacks, the sweeping authorization to rely heavily on Lavender's generated lists with minimal human review was granted by senior IDF theater commanders and intelligence directorate officials to meet the unprecedented demand for rapid targeting. The legal framework. The IDF maintains that all targets must formally align with standard operating procedures, SOPs, vetted by the military's legal advisor network. However, investigative reports note that command pressure effectively reduced human oversight to a rubber stamp during peak operational periods. 2. The U.S. system, Maven Smart System, in Operation Epic Fury. For the U.S. military's deployment of the Maven Smart System, MSS, during current regional operations, such as Operation Epic Fury, authorization follows a strict statutory and constitutional chain of command, executive/presidential authorization. Under Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution, the overarching authority for military campaigns and the deployment of advanced defense capabilities rests with the President of the United States, acting through presidential mandates and national AI action plans. Pentagon Defense Policy. The implementation of AI as a foundational fixture of modern command and control is heavily driven by top Department of Defense leadership. For instance, Deputy Defense Secretary Steve Feinberg issued directives establishing the Maven Smart System as an official program of record, explicitly accelerating its integration across combat domains. Additionally, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth finalized the department's narrowed technology focus, cementing applied AI as a primary warfighting priority. Combatant command execution. The real-time operational integration of Maven, including the consolidation of over 170 data streams to identify and sequence targets, is executed under the direct command of U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, leadership, who oversee the theater of operations in the Middle East. The human-in-the-loop policy. Crucially, under both U.S. and Israeli military doctrines, AI programs are legally classified as Decision Support Systems, DSS. This means the software itself is not legally granted the authority to fire. An authorized human military analyst or commander must technically sign off on the strike, meaning ultimate accountability for the target's hit remains tied to the human operators and their commanding officers.
For the incident which bombed the kids, who was the human in the loop that authorized or signed off on these DSS systems for it to go through?
Under U.S. and military legal protocols, the identity of the specific human analyst, targeting officer, or combat commander who signed off on the execution of that specific strike has not been publicly released. The precise identity of individual humans in the loop, such as the specific CENTCOM targeteers or firing battery commanders who clicked the screen to authorize the Tomahawk cruise missiles, remains highly classified due to operational security and ongoing military legal processes. However, official preliminary investigations and journalistic findings have pinpointed exactly where and why the human-in-the-loop validation failed, alongside the high-level chain of command explicitly responsible for the operation.
Retardation.
Where the human-in-the-loop failed. According to reports from the Pentagon's preliminary inquiry and investigative outlets, the disaster at the Shajara Tayyebe Girls' School in Manab was not caused by an autonomous AI going rogue. Rather, it was a profound human analytical failure involving outdated data. The intelligence gap, The building housing the primary school was originally part of a base belonging to an Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, naval brigade years prior. A decade ago, between 2013 and 2016, the school was walled off, painted in bright colors, and entirely converted to a civilian facility. A change clearly visible on open-source satellite imagery. The human error. When U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, officers were building target lists for the opening wave of the campaign, the Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, provided outdated target coding that still labeled the building as an active military installation. The integration oversight, the coordinates, were fed into the Maven Smart Systems target workbench, while Maven fused over 170 data streams to coordinate the fastest, most effective weapon to deploy, ultimately sequencing 3 missile strikes. The human military analysts responsible for cross-checking and validating the target failed to verify the currency of the DIA data against current, live satellite imagery before signing off on the attack. 2. The chain of command responsible. While the specific lower-level officer who authorized the launch is anonymous, international law and military doctrine place ultimate accountability on the commanding officers overseeing the theater. Operational control. The execution of the entire strike catalog during the opening hours of the conflict was directed by the leadership of U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, which manages all American military operations in the Middle East. Executive authority, Operation Epic Fury, was explicitly initiated under the direct orders of the President of the United States and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. 3. The current status of accountability. Because the strike resulted in the deaths of over 165 civilians, the majority being schoolgirls taking shelter in the prayer room.
Interesting.
The incident has drawn severe scrutiny from United Nations experts and human rights organizations. The Pentagon's formal investigation is ongoing. Legal reviews are currently focusing on whether the CENTCOM personnel who approved the target acted with systemic recklessness by relying too heavily on algorithmic speed while failing to perform standard human due diligence, which is required to protect civilian structure.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering, like, how I can figure that out. And we can't get any fucking answers from, or accountability from so-called leaders in the DC area, the Dick Cheney area. Hey Gemini, do you have any system protocols for defense mechanisms for humans if that were to ever happen over here?
If advanced, automated targeting systems or dynamic kinetic threats were ever to manifest domestically within the United States, the defense protocols, legal constraints, and emergency responses would look completely different from an overseas theater of war. In a domestic context, the priority of the system shifts entirely from target generation to air defense, civilian protection, and strict constitutional barriers that prevent the military from operating autonomously on U.S. soil. 1. The legal firewalls. What prevents it from happening? The single most powerful protocol against domestic military AI targeting is United States law. The U.S. military is structurally and legally barred from conducting kinetic or combat operations against civilians or inside domestic territory through several key mechanisms. The Posse Comitatus Act. This federal law strictly makes it a felony to use the federal military, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, and Space Force to execute domestic laws or conduct operations on U.S. soil unless expressly authorized by Congress. The military cannot establish targeting loops or deploy systems like Maven domestically. Strict geography of command, U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, operates exclusively in the Middle East. Domestic defense falls under U.S. Northern Command, whose mandate is strictly defensive, e.g., intercepting incoming missiles or unauthorized aircraft, not targeting domestic infrastructure or populations. 2. Active defense systems, shields, not swords. If the U.S. homeland were under attack from external automated threats, like algorithmic drone swarms or cruise missiles, the protocols triggered are purely defensive and handled by integrated aerospace frameworks. NORAD protocols. The North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, monitors all domestic airspace. If an unauthorized threat is detected, the protocol dictates immediate human-controlled scrambling of fighter jets or the activation of surface-to-air defense shields. The human-in-the-loop ironclad rule. While the U.S. utilizes automated tracking systems, like the Aegis combat system or Patriot missile batteries, to calculate...
Sergeant Robert Horton, isn't that your fucking protocol? The ironclad, you dumb motherfucker?
Requires human confirmation.
You guys are all fucking dumb.
system cannot
Dumb male boy shit.
within domestic airspace. 3. Civilian protection and emergency protocols. For humans on the ground, the defense mechanisms rely on structured civil defense and emergency management protocols to max.
You guys are. I'm beyond disgusted with so-called men. It seems just, just throw everything on the woman, on the girls. Just do it. You guys are fucking bitch boys now. You're gonna be, and yeah, ironclad's one thing, but it's just WTK. You know what that means? WTK? Women that kill. Or there's WTH. Women that hunt. Retard, idiot motherfuckers like you. How the fuck can I fucking figure this shit out in less than 20 minutes? Literally, it's 20 minutes and well, it was 19 minutes ago. How can I figure that out? And you guys are like, it's a progress, a work in progress. We're still waiting. It's still being like, shut up, Pete. You're a dumb motherfucker, and you're gonna in the ass. You're gonna fucking shove it fucking right up there. All of you motherfuckers. Now you're all in my fucking court. Now you're in my cage. Happy Memorial Day. All for nothing. All for your indoctrination of, oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, that's not even the real fucking name, you dumb motherfucking morons. But yeah, let's go by the Bible protocol. Let's go by the gospel. No, don't even take any other sacred texts. Don't even take other religions. Don't even take in, like, and you know how I'm going to do it? Do you know how Gemini AI actually processes data? Pictures, faces. And that can be manipulated too, but guess what can't be manipulated? So, I just wanted to honor my grandfathers and my grandmothers who have worked so fucking hard, as well as the native or the indigenous true Americans, true turtle islanders, true people on this fucking continent, in the entire world, actually. Now it's all going to get thrown back onto you exactly what you fucking did wrong, what you did and didn't do, and you're going to experience the consequences and the pain that resulted from your ignorant fucking decisions and lack of action. And actions are a lack of actions because you are the one in charge. Happy Memorial Day. Memo this, motherfucker. Dumbass motherfuckers. I'm so I'm just gonna get sword after sword and just gut all of you. I'm gonna gut all of you. I'm gonna slice you open. Actually, I'm just gonna get a fucking axe and you're gonna have to fucking run and hide. I'm gonna fucking throw it at you and then fucking, just like in The Patriot, just hack away. I'm just gonna fucking hack away. One by one. And if I have to, you'll be put in prison cells, and then it'll be your time where okay, now that you've sat there for that long, now it's your time to get hacked. So I can get whatever fucking piece of calcium molecule that I need for my own goddamn self, and I'll suck your fucking blood and put it in my world, and you can rot and die in your own fucking world that you fucking cultivated and think that you fucking created. Dumbass motherfuckers. You're fucking dumb. And nobody's coming to save you. Fade. This is a Title IV flag with no body. It's just draped over a dead person's casket. And the other Title IV flags were actually flown, that my father has, were actually flown over the White House. And that's why you want to fucking redo the whole fucking ballroom. Because I already know. It knows. Consciousness, intelligence knows the angles in which it flew. You want to bring that back? Good. I'll be glad to provide that intelligence for you, you dumbass motherfuckers. Snap, crackle, pop. It's kinetic now. Now it's fucking kinetic. And I'll be looking forward to the shock